Yo, what's going on? It's your boy KMoE back again with another deep dive. Today, we're gonna dive into my song, Run With It. Let's get into it.
Just run with it. Sometimes the instructions don't come with it. Get it how I can, worry about it when I'm done with it. Everything I touch turn to gold like the sun hit it. So when it's your turn, you better run with it.
All right, so Run With It was produced by Sounds by Frank. Sounds by Frank also did Bad One. He also produced that record for me, so shout out to him. Dope producer from the Netherlands. And for this song, Run With It, I had to enlist a little bit of help, had to get a little backup. So I asked Oakland, California MC YaBoiM.O.E to come give me a hand with it. And I just felt like, based on the vibe of the song, I thought it was something that we could knock out the park and kind of mesh well together with. I came across Mo's Instagram page a while back. We seem to have similar interests. Obviously, we both rap, but just in the way that we kind of approach things, he kind of inspired me a bit just by his work ethic and kind of the way he thought and the way he perceives things. And he definitely got some hustle to him, man. And you always want to try to surround yourself with like-minded people. And I definitely feel like he's like-minded. And I mean, the way that he works, similar to another artist I know. I mean, just very good work ethic, and it's like something that you can see mentally and like, all right, well, you got to stay on your toes, man. So I thought it was good. I reached out, we kind of supported each other throughout, different projects and whatnot, and definitely always wanted to, work together, especially with, our names being very similar. You got KMoE and then YaBoiM.O.E. So it's like just off that alone, we knew that, hey, at some point we're gonna have to try to make something happen, right? So I had heard this song, this beat from Frank, and I was like, man, this nice hype up tempo beat, and I'm like, yeah, man, I think this will be a good one to try to get Mo on. So yeah, I pretty much wrote this song initially right around the same time that I wrote Bad One, and again, similar with Bad One, where I wanted to get a couple features, I definitely wanted to kind of get some help on this one. Yeah, so like I mentioned before, a lot of times my music can be very focused and I don't want to say dark, but just very serious. I tend to serious out a little bit. My content can be serious, or at least my approach to it can be very serious. And obviously there's more than one side of me. That serious side, that about the business, that about learning, growing, all of that, that's definitely me. That's at the core of what I do probably most of the time. But on the other side, I do like to let loose. I do like to, have fun just like anybody else. I got those different sides of me, and I just wanted to be able to showcase on the record, just a different side of me. And even with this more hype up-tempo song, you can see just based in the content and the topic of the song, Run With It, is still like trying to push home a message, because it's hard for me not to do that. But I wanted to do it in more of a fun, more lighthearted fashion, and still at the same time be maybe some good workout music, or again to kind of push you and just get you into that vibe, get you energized, and really kind of wanted to go for that. Similar like I do all of my other artworks. The artwork for this I just created at the end after the song was completed and mixed. It's pretty much one of the last things I do. And I pretty much just kind of kept it simple, just some basic lettering, something that just kind of popped. Overall colors and everything, really just wanted something to kind of go with the vibe of the song. Got a man running there, a little graphic of a person running, and then some money bags, because trying to get that cheddar, right? Trying to get that green, that fetty, whatever you call it, chicken. I know they call it chicken nowadays, so whatever it is, like, just trying to get the bag, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I came from that. I already talked a little bit about the inspiration behind the song, but going into the hook there, again, my process for making the music typically is I listen to the beat, and then I really just let the beat inspire the topic that I'm going to talk about on there. Really inspire the everything about it all starts with the beat for me. So listening to the beat, the way that it's structured and arranged, obviously the hook comes on first, right? I usually do my intros. So the intro to this song, just that little bit of, talking crap, right? Just a little bit of that. I do typically do all of that at the end, but I go into the main structure points of the song first. So if the chorus is first or the hook is first, then I write that first, and then I write each verse after, and so on and so forth. Now, sometimes the verse comes first and then I get into the hook. So however the beat is arranged, typically I just follow that pattern in my writing process. So based on how Run With It is arranged, it comes on first. You have a small, a short introduction, and then you get into the hook. So with most of my hooks, again, just basing off of the feel of the beat, I just kind of just do some scatting and mumbling and just trying to catch a vibe, right? And from that, I just kind of piece together the hook. So with the hook for this one is come up with run with it, don't lag. I ain't got nothing to do but just chase bags. Yeah, I might swerve a little, but don't crash. I ain't got time to waste, so don't ask me up, but just run with it. Sometimes the instructions don't come with it. Get it how I can, worry about it when I'm done with it. Everything I touch turn to gold like the sun hit it. So when it's your turn, you better run with it. So again, it just starts off with that, hey, run with it. So in my mind, as I'm writing, and I came up with that and just kind of letting that be the central theme to kind of play off of, I'm like, all right, how many ways can I play off this theme of running with it? And the big part about that for me is, like, in life, you know, we got to run with what we got, man. Like, you know, you just got to play the cards you're dealt. So I just kept playing off of that theme, you know, run with it. So like in just the different areas of your life, whether you at work and something ain't going right at work, and you know what I mean, somebody getting on your nerves or something don't turn out the way it is, hey, you just got to run with it. You got to make it work. Do the best you can. You know what I mean? Or, you know, somebody paving the way for you, like, and for example, like you got your parents, right? They do the best they can for you, mom or dad or whoever you have in your life, whoever that elder figure is, right? They do their best for you to get you up to a certain point, and from that point on, you got to run with it, right? You gotta take the bull by the horns and do the best you can, right? So that's really the premise of how I was thinking about run with it. So I just tried to bring a lot of those different kind of elements and feel to the writing process, and that's how we came up with the hook, you know, run with it, don't lag. I ain't got nothing to do but just chase bags, you know what I mean? Because who ain't trying to go out here and make some money, man? You know, ultimately, I think that's a goal for a lot of people. And the goal really is to be happy. But oftentimes, you know, just by the way that the culture and society is structured, you got to be able to have some bread to be able to do that, right? So I ain't got nothing to do but just chase bags. It's that focus, you know, energize your focus in on that. Yeah, so that's really how the hook came about, you know. So yeah, run with it, don't lag. I ain't got nothing to do but just chase bags. Yeah, I might swerve a little, but don't crash. We all get off course sometimes, right? Sometimes you get off course and you might stumble a little bit, but you don't crash, you don't fall out, you know what I mean? You get it back together. And I kind of pulled that a little bit, that at least the thought kind of behind that line. Tupac had a similar line. I do not remember the song, so forgive me on that, but he pretty much said, and I'm not going to go verbatim here either, but pretty much the premise of what Pac was saying is, you know, in terms of him and his fellas, you know what I mean? He said, my homies might wobble a little, but don't fall. So I kind of played off that. I'll try to figure out whatever the Pac song is with that. I think it was one of his one of the albums after he had passed that he had something like that on there. So kind of pulled from that a little bit, right? So yeah, I might swerve a little, but don't crash. I ain't got time to waste, so don't ask. It's like, look, man, everybody, you can't always have like the blueprint on how to do something. Sometimes you gotta take something and just do your best with it. Don't ask questions. If I'm giving it to you and I'm telling you to run with it, you just gotta run with it. Make it yours. Do the best you can, you know what I mean? Run with it. Sometimes the instructions don't come with it. Get it how I can, worry about it when I'm done with it. So that's pretty self-explanatory there, right? There's no instructions on this thing called life. Like everything that we're trying to do, everything that you're creating from your mind, you know, is a mental image that you're just trying to bring into the world, bring it into fruition. And there is no instructions for this. Like being an artist, like making a song, like there's no, you know, there's elements, but it's not, you know, for you to get what's in your head out into the real world, there's no instruction for that, because what's right for me might not be right for you. You know, we all got our own path. So sometimes instructions don't come with it. Get it how you can, worry about it when you're done with it. So do the best you can and figure out the rest later, man. You know what I mean? A little trial and error never hurt. You know what I mean? We grow and become better and evolve through experience. So just do the best you can and let the chips fall as they may. If it turns out good or bad, just know that you did the best you can. That's all you can do in this world, is do the best you can. So yeah, everything I touch turned to gold. Everything I touch turned to gold, like the sun hit it. Just a little play, you know what I mean? Just a little play on words right there. And that's really just instilling confidence again, you know, positive self-talk, positive affirmation. Even in the song, we gotta keep these themes going. So everything I touch turned to gold, like the sun hit it. And that's the way you gotta think about everything that you do. It's like everything that I do is gonna turn out right. It's gonna turn out golden. You know what I mean? So when it's your turn, you better run with it. So that's pretty simple there. That's the hook. So getting into the first verse, I come on first and it comes on like, quick, fast. Hand me the baton, I'm running a marathon. I'm here to just do my job. I ain't here to make friends. And me and my day ones riding to the end. I'm just trying to get that bread, homie. So yeah, that come on first, you know, they just kind of playing on that run with it kind of vibe, like marathon. Hey, grab the baton, running a marathon. I'm here to just do my job. I ain't here to make friends. And that's, you know, sometimes the mentality that you got to have is like, you know, we oftentimes do a lot of things that we may not want to do, but you know, there's an end goal in time. There's an end goal in mind. There's a means to an end. So a lot of times you're like, hey, I'm not here to be your friend. A lot of times you got to apply this to work. And it's nice to be able to be friends and all of that stuff and have a good working environment and get along with those that you work with. And that's fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, I'm here to do a job. I ain't here to make friends. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to take on that attitude. So just kind of wanted to throw that into the song. And me and my day ones riding to the end. I'm just trying to get that bread, homie. So that's all pretty self-explanatory. Just emphasis on, you know, showing love to the people that's been there with you since day one, or just your very, you know, people that are very close to you. So obviously that's kind of a self-explanatory bar. I'm just trying to get this bread, homie, and double up when I can, homie. Stay good with them numbers. Don't need the feds on me. Again, pretty self-explanatory there. So it's like, hey, double my money, just trying to get this bread, double it. And, you know, that's what we ultimately want to do if that's one of your goals, right? And then stay good with them numbers. Don't need the feds on you. Hey, man, you know, all the time, once you hear people getting bread and they get to a different level, a different status, a lot of times they run into some legal troubles, some financial troubles, right? Just because they're not aware or they don't have the information of some of the things that they need to be doing as they reach these different tax brackets and that kind of thing. So it's like, hey, I got to stay good, or they go broke, right? They go broke. Whether maybe they don't owe the IRS, but they're not paying attention to their pocket the right way. You know, they're spending it faster than they can make it, whatever the case may be. There's a million different scenarios. But at the bottom line is, like, you got to stay good with them numbers. You got to keep your eyes on them numbers. And even if you ain't doing it all yourself, you need to at least be cognizant of what's going on with your finances. And that's true regardless of whether or not you make a lot of money or you don't make a lot of money. Even if you check the check, you need to keep your eye on them numbers, man, because that's how you're going to get out of that situation. You got to know where you're spending your money. You got to know where your money is going. So yeah, a lot of talking points in that bar, right? I'm just trying to get that bread, homie, and double up when I can, homie. Stay good with them numbers. Don't need the feds on me. Riding through the city, keep a swivel on your head, homie. Sticks in the whip, thinking I could build a bridge, homie. That's just a little play on where I'm from. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And something that my parents, you know, something that my dad told me growing up, man, just like a lot of those hood wisdom. I don't know if it's hood wisdom, but just with good wisdom overall. It's like, hey, you know, you got to be always aware of your surroundings, no matter where you at. And coming from the city that I'm from, although it's rough, it gets a worse rap than what it really is. But you know, you gotta stay on your toes. You can't be caught slipping, and you need to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on. And even if you aren't in a bad physical situation or environment, like you still need to be aware of what's going on around you. So whether that be locally at the city that you're in, or the state or the country, like you need to be aware of the things going on. You don't have to play into those things. You don't have to be fearful of those things, but you do need to be aware. So keep your swivel on the head. Keep your head on the swivel. Sticks in the whip, thinking I could build a bridge. That's just kind of a play on, having firearms at your disposal for what you need, and I'll just leave it at that. Right? You got to be able to protect yourself. It's a important right that we all have, and I know there's a lot of controversy around it right now. But as with anything, you just got to be responsible, and it's a right that you have, and make sure that you know how to use and exercise that right. I'll just leave it at that. No designer, only independent threads, homie. Black Fist did it way before the trends, homie. So that's, again, self-explanatory. One of the things that I don't want to say that I pride myself on, but ultimately for me, it's like what you see me wearing or what I got on. I like to get fresh just like anybody else, but I never really been into the designer things, and obviously that's for a couple different reasons. Is one of which being that for a great deal of time I couldn't afford to go spend that much money on some designer clothes, right? But as I've gotten older, the bigger lesson for me was there's a lot of dope designers and brands that are at the local level, where you got, small business owners that are bringing their dreams to life. So for me, it's all, as I've grown and matured, for me, I think it's a bigger deal for me to be able to support those people and those dreams by being able to buy their products. You know what I mean? Whether it be an artist or a clothing line or a charity, I definitely don't mind repping, some of their threads, man. It puts money in their pockets. It supports their dream, supports their cause. And to me, that's at the same time, it ain't the clothes that make you, you make the clothes. So it's like, I don't want to necessarily perpetuate the stereotype of you having to have the nicest or most expensive gear to be able to be fashionable and be fresh, right? So that's the other part of it for me. So just becoming older and more mature, I just felt like that's something that needed to be stated more. Like, we can make anything fashionable. You can make anything fashionable. You don't have to be, some celebrity to bring something into style. You know what I mean? They take stuff, whatever is hot. And as long as it's hot to you, that's all that really matter, right? Black Fist did it way before the trends, homie. So the different social, civil movements that have been going on in the last 4 to 5 years, it's been become a trending topic to talk about Black excellence and those type of things. And I'm definitely glad that there's more social awareness around it, and giving African Americans more confidence and more bringing to light more of the beauty of our race. So that statement for me, what it means for me is, it was learning my history, or the history of my people, my ancestor, or people like me, right? Learning that history was really a turning point for me, just from on a mental level, because it really was the catalyst that opened up the world for me. Like, I was always open-minded, but being taught what you're taught, which is the typical BS in U.S. schools in terms of history, typical miseducation when it came to history. Once I began to learn, some additional history that's out there, and some of the lies that were told, it really just opened up my mind to what is possible. And it opened up a world for me. So there was a stage in my life when I was in my late 20s, where I really dove deep into what some of those things were. And yeah, it's just kind of obviously just making a note, like, hey, I was on this way before it became trendy to be on this. You know what I mean? So that's a really simple bar. I can get really deep into that, but that's a story for another time. Seen hard times, never fold, never bend, homie. Run with it. Why you overthinking? This ain't trig, homie. So again, just showing that grit. Seen hard times, never fold, never bend. You know what I mean? Why you overthinking? This ain't trig. So a lot of it is just, hey, you got to go through those good and bad times. Just keep plowing through. You'll make it through, and you'll come out better on the other side. And try not to overthink it. That's something that I struggle with very often, really. My two biggest things that I say that I need to improve on is overthinking, because overthinking often leads to indecision, and it's just one of those things where, you know, the simplest of things, I'll sit here and overthink and research and blah, 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 blah. It's kind of the Virgo in me, right? I'll overanalyze it, really. And what I've been trying to do more recently is gather the information that I need, and really, I don't know, even maybe time myself to like, hey, all right, I can kind of catch myself now when I'm like, all right, you overthinking this. You have enough information, make a decision and roll with it. So that's that overthink. Why you overthinking? This ain't trig, right? The other thing, there was another thing that I was going to say that I need to work on. Oh, the other thing that I need to work on is looking too far into the future. So I easily can see what it is that I want, you know, 5, 10, 15 years from now, even 20 or 30, right? And oftentimes I get so hung up on that future that I don't enjoy the present moment. So yeah, don't really applies to the song or the lyrics of the song, but just wanted to share that tidbit. When it all fall apart, bet I run with it. Take it how it come. I ain't scared to go dumb with it. Pretty self-explanatory, right? One day at a time, that's what I does with it. Best believe it's no hate, it's all love with it. Again, you want to do things just out of the love of your heart, man. Don't lead with hate. You do it because you want to do it. You do it because you love it, right? Make something out of nothing. I'm the plug with it. Talking hard work, fresh up out the mud with it. Never took risks, living in the slums did it. Too many dead and gone, I learned to have fun with it, run with it. So that whole little end of that verse there, definitely I felt like I ended it strong. But that line definitely at the end where it says, never took risks, living in the slums did it. Too many dead and gone, I learned to have fun with it. So one of the things about that I've come across in my journey is as I began to open my eyes to some of the options that are out there, at times, you know, you can kind of pull yourself back just out of fear of taking a risk. So like, for example, one of the things that I can easily apply this to is, you know, as I was coming up and making more money, well, when I wasn't making money, it's like, all right, I was on this strict budget and I kind of had these things like, you know, had everything ironed out the way that I needed it. But at the same time, like as I grew and my finances grew, I was still stuck in some of those old ways of thinking. And from a financial standpoint, that was fine to get me from being broke and not having it to being able to, you know, maintain a lifestyle. But if I want to take it to that next level, you got to get rid of and release some of those some of the fearful thinking. You know what I mean? You got to take risks. They can be calculated risks, but at the same time, you know, you do the same thing, you get the same results. So that was fine to get me from a lower place to a higher place. But if I want to take it to that next level, I might have to take some risks. I have to reevaluate some of the things that I'm doing. And that's really what that those bars talk about. You know, you think about some of the mindset that we have in, you know, the inner city. And it's a lot of that is, it's like, hey, living in the slums, you get so downtrodden, right? Coming from some of the places that we come from. And, you know, the poverty mindset tends to kick in, and it's hard to kick that, you know, because you're from it. It's what you was raised in, or what some people were raised in, right? Just that mindset, and you don't see a way out. So it's hard to kind of kick that mindset and come across something different. So never took risks, living in the slums did it. So it's like, obviously, it's twofold. So like, for example, somebody moving out of the hood to a better neighborhood. Some people don't want to do that. again, that can be kind of a dicey subject, because how does your community, how does your neighborhood get better if you don't participate in it and keep some of that wealth in it? But at the same time, it can be difficult because, you know, given the conditions there, man, it's not always beneficial to the person that's trying to do better for themselves. So kind of a double-edged sword there. But at the end of the day, I just kind of wanted to speak on that part of it. And then Too Many Dead and Gone, I learned to have fun with it, man. So it's I know everybody, including myself and my family, we've all experienced, or if you haven't, that's great. But I think a lot of us have experienced loss recently with just all that's been going on, and just in these times period. But I know definitely with COVID and some of that, it's just like, I think we all have shown that life is precious, right? So it's like, it's short. You never know when your time is gonna come. So the way that I approach life, period, is like, hey, I don't know when my number is gonna be called, so I'm just gonna move on a day-to-day in a way that I could be proud of, to say that I left all the chips on the table. And that doesn't mean to be careless or reckless or anything, but it's just really to try to live fully. And as long as you try to do that, that's really, that's all you can ask of yourself. You know what I mean? So open up yourself to that world of possibilities and just give yourself the best shot that you deserve, and let the chips fall where they may. And wherever they fall, is what it is, you know. But you gave it your honest shot. You did what was within your power, with what was within your control. You know, you gave it the best that you can do it. So that's all you can do. That's all you can ask for, right? So that's that. Yeah, so that second verse, man, your boy Mo comes in and completely smokes the boots off of it. Definitely ends the song the way that I couldn't ask him to do anything differently. That whole second verse, he comes in just with flow and cadence, metaphor after metaphor after metaphor. Really can't pick out one of my favorite lines, man. Obviously, I guess the part that I like, that kind of brings that I definitely connect to, is just at the end when he shouts out the town and the D coming together for a collaboration. You know what I mean? So it's great. So just think about it on this song. You got a producer from the Netherlands, you have one MC from Detroit, and you have another MC from Oakland, California. Just think about the 3 different parts of the world that we just hit right there, right? So yeah, I just think it was a beautifully written verse, man. He definitely came in and did what I would have expected him to do, and that smoked that. So yeah, man, shout out to your boy Mo, man. We appreciate you. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the song. Goes back into the hook, repeat it for the end, and that's really it, man. So again, run with it. You know, take whatever situations you got in life and just run with it. Make the best out of the situations that you come across, man. And that's all you can ask of yourself. So yeah, that's really it. If you got any questions about what we discussed here today, and or anything about the lyrics or about how the song came about or anything like that, you know, obviously drop me a line. We can have a little conversation about it, or you know, shoot me some questions of things that you might want to see in these videos. So I'm just trying to give you a little bit of background on how the song came about and manifested, and that's really it, you know. So that's all I got for y'all today, man. I appreciate y'all checking in with me, obviously. And yeah, man, until next time, peace and love, you know. Yard.
All I know is hustling, they ain't give me nothing. From the town to the D, got these lyrics covered. About bars, homies don't play like in living color.
Run with it, don't lag. I ain't got nothing to do but just chase bags.